Do you remember that scene in Terminator 2 with John Connor at the arcade? Man, as a kid I wanted to be just like him, the haircut, the attitude, the bike, and of course having a Terminator for a best friend. Seriously, what could be cooler than that? Terminator 2 is still one of my all-time favorite movies, a total classic. It has aged like fine wine, just like one of the games John was playing back then. Missile Command. Missile Command is a game released back in 1980 by Atari. You take on the role of a missile defense commander tasked with protecting cities from incoming enemy ballistic missiles. The gameplay is simple but super dynamic. You control a crosshair and fire counter missiles, trying to blow up threats before they reach the ground. You move the crosshair using a trackball and launch missiles from 3 different silos, each with its own dedicated button. It's a fast-paced game. You have to predict where the enemy missiles are headed and take them out before they hit your cities. You can still play Missile Command today in some arcades. For example, the Krakow Arcade Museum has a machine I played on a few months ago. As a huge fan of the game, I even picked up a 1/6 scale replica, an official licensed Atari model made by New Wave Toys. It's got the original ROM, a working trackball, and it plays sounds and lights up just like the real one. One cool little feature is the CRT style filter that warps the LCD screen to mimic an old school monitor. Some people didn't like that, but personally, I think it's awesome. And man, the design of the machine, I absolutely love those vintage Atari artworks. Honestly, I think they're real pieces of modern art. The original Missile Command is a game that never gets old. It's a high-score chaser that's always a blast to fire up. 40 years later, in 2020, Atari dropped a refreshed version called Missile Command Recharged. Once again, you are defending cities from incoming missiles, but this time you control your defenses using touch controls. The version I'm showing here was available on platforms like Switch, PC, Android, and Atari VCS. My personal favorite one was the Android version because I can play it on a big tablet. The gameplay still feels just as awesome as the original. The music composed by Megan McDuffie brings a cool synthwave vibe, and the deep bass and sound effects really boost the atmosphere. It's a full-on neon explosion set to some killer tunes. I keep coming back to this one, whether it's on my phone or tablet, always trying to beat my old high scores. After every run you earn XP, which you can use to upgrade your base. Other than that, the game sticks pretty closely to the original formula, and that's exactly why it works. 2020, Atari decided to update the game even more. They added things like power-ups, challenges, co-op mode, and extended to platforms like PS4, PS5, and Linux. But the newer version doesn't support touch controls on the Switch, and honestly, that really killed it for me. Playing with analog sticks just isn't the same. So if you ask me, the 2020 version is the way to go, unless you're playing on PC with a mouse, which feels pretty great. And since I mentioned using a mouse, let me tell you about another take on this classic formula, but this time not from Atari. In September 2024, the developer Pixel Jam released a game called Utopia Must Fall. It's like a perfect mashup of Missile Command and Space Invaders, served up with a clean vector style and topped off with a roguelike twist. You are defending various cities from alien invaders, meteors, and missiles. You control an auto-firing cannon. You move the direction with your mouse, and when you click, you launch devastating nuclear blasts. You fend off waves of attacks, upgrade your arsenal, and try to prevent total nuclear annihilation. The biggest strength here is the variety. After each wave, you get to choose from a pretty hefty list of upgrades. You can swap your missiles for ones that explode in smaller blasts, but in much larger numbers. Add laser turrets, deploy shield fields, or even unlock overload modules that let you slow down time to survive massive onslaughts. The game gets absolutely chaotic. Sometimes you can barely tell what's happening, but you can still feel like you are one controlling the battlefield. It's tough, but fair. The music is also a huge highlight. Seriously impressive stuff. Right now it's available on Steam, still in early access, and on itch.io. Definitely one to keep an eye on. And finally, I saved something special for the end. A Missile Command inspired game brought into VR and MR called Airspace Defender. This game was created by 2 guys who participated in the 2024 Meta Hackathon Game Jam, and honestly, they built something really cool. Even though it's still in early access, it's already delivering a ton of fun. The game uses the color pass-through feature on the Quest 3 headset, letting neon graphics blend seamlessly into your real-world environment. Thanks to that, Airspace Defender offers a totally unique experience, a kind of diorama that you can set up wherever you like, right in front of you. But the best part? No controllers needed. You control your artillery using hand tracking and gestures, firing missiles by doing a little pinch motion. A few years ago, this kind of thing was pure science fiction, and now it's literally at your fingertips. Just like before, you defend against waves of enemies, upgrade your gear, and swap out turrets. But this time, you are not just thinking in 2 dimensions, it's full 3D. Predicting the trajectory of falling bombs gets way trickier, especially when kamikaze planes or guided missiles come into play. Sometimes the hand tracking isn't perfect. The game might miss your pinch here and there, but you get used to it, after a few moments of frustration, of course. Right now, there are only 2 maps, New York and Tokyo, and about 5 or 6 enemy types. On the flip side, you can customize your loadout with bombs, miniguns, mortars, lasers, antimatter cannons, and more. Gameplay look is super addictive, and the synthwave soundtrack in the background just makes you want to keep defending your cities as long as possible. Thanks to online leaderboards, you're constantly chasing a better score against players worldwide. Even though it feels like there isn't tons of content yet, for just a few bucks, it's absolutely worth it. I paid a little over $6. As you can see, Missile Command is still very much alive, and it just proves that a good gameplay idea will always stand the test of time. Cities, however, won't defend themselves, so whether it's your bare hand, a trackball, a tablet, or a mouse, get out there and save the world from Skynet or some crazy tyrant. I hope you enjoy this content. Wish you all the best. See you next time. Bye.